Alright, now what we're going to do is we're going to find the radius or diameter, well actually we're going to find both, of a circle when we're given the circumference. But this time we're not going to be given the circumference as just one number. We're actually going to be given the circumference in terms of pi. So you're going to see you're not going to need a calculator for this. It's going to be a really short, sweet, quick process. So here's how to find the radius or diameter of a circle when given its circumference in terms of pi. All right, a couple ways I'm going to explain this. I found this prop circle online. I was kind of curious about it, rather large, and I found out that the circumference was 150 pi feet. Now, important thing to note here, the circumference is not 150. It's the product of 150 times pi. So if we really wanted the actual just one number for pi, we would multiply 150 times whatever value we're using for pi. I'm sorry, that's if we wanted to find the circumference. So I can do a quick estimate here. If I want to find the circumference, maybe I'll just multiply by 3. So 3 times 150, the distance around this, the circumference as one number, would be about 450 feet. Now what I'm going to do is, instead of finding the circumference, I'm going to find the radius and the diameter. Now it's actually common sense if you look at the formula here. But we can also show you how to do it through the work. We'll do it through the work. If I take circumference, and again I divide by pi, I get the diameter. So what I can do here is take my pen, and I can divide this by pi. Now what happens is, when you divide this by pi, the pi's actually just go away, they cancel out. Because if you take a number and multiply it by pi, or any number, and divide by the same number, you just get this number right back. So we can actually cancel that out, and we're left with the diameter. The diameter here is 150 feet. So we're pretty much done with the diameter, just by canceling out the pi's. Now the other way to find the diameter is to just look at it and say, alright, so the formula for circumference is pi times diameter. So if we have the circumference in terms of the pi, the number that's there is the diameter, the number that we're multiplying by pi, I mean. So right away you can actually just look at it and say, well, the diameter has to be 150. So either way you do that, you can get the diameter of the circle. Now, if we want the circumference, if we want the radius, that's just a simple process. If it's 150 in diameter, then just dividing by 2 is going to give me the radius. Okay, so here I would just take 150 and divide by 2, and I would get a radius of 75. And that was in feet, so I would like to label that as well. Just go back and make sure I labeled everything here. And this is the radius, so I'm just going to put in radius here. A little difficult to do this with the laptop mouse. Okay, so going back. That's labeled, diameter is 150, and over here we have the radius as 75. So just to recap quickly, if I have the circumference in terms of pi, and I'll erase this to get rid of it. I'm going over it, and okay. So the circumference in terms of pi, I can divide this by pi, the pi's will be canceled out, and I'll be left with my diameter. The other thing I can do is actually just look at it and think about the formula here. The circumference equals pi times diameter, so this 150 has to be my diameter. So either way you're going to have the diameter, and once you have the diameter, dividing by 2 will give you the radius. So that's how you find the radius or diameter of a circle when you have the circumference in terms of pi.